Welcome back, everybody. All right, so in this tutorial, we're going to be modeling a coffee maker. Now, we're going to be making two coffee makers. One of them is going to be a little bit more complex than the other, but we're going to go with the square aesthetic just so I can show you how to do everything. And this is going to be a very simple and basic coffee maker, but it's going to be effective. So the first things first is whenever you're designing anything, you want to a good thing to do is to make it much more simple than you think it is. And when you think about a coffee maker, it has an element at the bottom. It also has a top part where the coffee goes in, and that's pretty much what it is. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to tab into edit mode. I'm going to go into face select mode, and you can actually simply go and simply click subdivide here. We can do it that way. And this actually might not be a bad way to go about it, but what I'm going to do is I like the loop cuts just because they're a little bit more accurate. So this is going to be the back, just like that, and I'm going to go loop cut and slide again, but on there we go, and I'm just going to undo that there, and undo that again. Yeah, so it looks like sometimes the loop cut is a little bit sticky sometimes. So I'm going to actually go ahead. I'm going to put that there. I'm going to go loop cut here on this side, and we're going to go loop cut here and put that just like this. Now in the center here, I'm going to hop into face select mode. I'm going to push E to extrude, and then I'm going to scale that in. And this is going to be our element here. So if I just kind of move that up just like that, that's going to be our element. Now the next thing we need to do is we need to add in one more loop cut, something like this. Okay. Hop into face select mode and select all of these faces like this. Okay, I'm going to just simply move that up like this. And you can see here that this is already starting to take the form of a coffee maker, which is actually going to be kind of cool. Now, the next part here is we need to go and what we can do is we can extrude something to something to over the top so that we can actually add in the cup here. So I'm going to move this up just maybe about that much because we're going to go with the kind of the cube look here. Let's hop into vertice mode and let's select all of these faces like this. I'm just going to push F, and now we can go back into face select mode. I'm just going to go and I'm going to push E to extrude like this here, and you can see that we have a face just like that here. And we need to have something that goes over this. So I'm just going to push E to extrude and something like that. In fact, you can hop up on 7 here and you can kind of move it. You can make it flush, but I'm actually just going to make it slightly behind. Okay, and there we go. Like the coffee's going to come and drip out of there, and then we're going to eventually put in our mug there. So on top of this, we could add in a couple of things. For example, we could simply extrude this up just a bit and kind of move it in just a bit. And if we wanted to add some kind of handle here, we can simply subdivide that, hop into edge select, and we'll move this down just like this. And what we can also do is hop into this, and we can actually subdivide this here too. And we'll just simply select all of these, push E to extrude, and you kind of have a handle here. Now, of course, what we're doing is that this is going to be this is a static coffee maker. It's not going to actually be able to function, like for example lifting up the lid, putting in the grinds, etc. This is something more for architectural rendering or something like that. Okay, so this all looks pretty good. Let's tab back into object mode. Let's go to create, and let's go and create a cube. Okay, I'm going to scale that down just a bit here, and this is going to be the cube that the coffee goes into, which I think is kind of cool. So I'm just going to move this in, something like that. And then I'm going to scale that out maybe just a bit here. And I can do that here. And let's hop into 1 and just make sure everything is just right. And Just move it just a bit there. Okay. I'm going to talk about the top of this in a second, but let's let's tab into object mode and let's tab into edit mode here. And this needs some kind of cool handle. And in order to do that, I'm just going to simply collect this side here. In fact, actually, the first thing I'm going to do is let's back into object mode, and I'm going to add in a bevel modifier, and I'm just going to up the segments just a bit here, and this will create somewhat of a cool cube look. We can actually do that with this as well, which we might end up doing. But let's tab into object mode here, and then push apply. Then tab into edit mode. And what we're going to do here is we're going to add in a handle. And this handle is actually going to be really simple. Let's go back into tools. We'll go to select loop cut, and we'll select one here, another loop cut, select here, and then we could actually we could add in 2 more loop cuts, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to push E to extrude, right click, and I'm going to scale it in. Okay, and then I'm going to just push E to extrude here. Okay, we're going to just give that a little bit of a handle there. And then what we can do is we can subdivide this, and you can see here that we can kind of move this up just like this if you really want to. And then let's go ahead and let's click on both of these here and subdivide that just like this. Or what might be better is a simple loop cut just like that down here. And hop back into I'm going to hop back into face select mode. I'm going to push E to extrude again and E to extrude. Now here comes the tricky part. We need to go and select the vertices, and this is always kind of annoying but necessary. And again, this is why you want to model with as few vertices as you possibly can. And you're probably wondering why sometimes we do this. It doesn't look right in the rendering. And the reason for that is you have something called normals, and the normals we haven't set. Because when you think about this, light is going and putting on, light is actually going and hitting this. But we have to tell it to hit it a certain way. So yeah, we have a pretty cool handle actually. And I do really like this square aesthetic. Hop back into the other model here. Go into face select mode. I'm going to push E to extrude. I'm going to scale that right in, and then I'm just going to simply move that down just like that, and then the coffee will come out of there. Let's tab back into object mode. Last thing we can do is we can add in a bevel here if we want to do that, and maybe add in a few more. Again, if you're making games, you do not want to do this. You just want to leave it the way it is, but I think that looks kind of cool. You can actually make the width a bit bigger if you want. Let's say 0.5. Let's see, tab into, and let's just go ahead and push apply and see how that looks. Okay, pretty cool. Looks decent. One thing I like about this is that it has the square aesthetic, which looks really, really cool. All right, I'll see you guys in the next tutorial.